Welcome back, everybody. Today we welcome Brandon,
A year or two ago, I might have taken 40 trades a day, and now I'm taking 200.
who is quickly approaching the $1 million mark.
I'd say a majority of my trades fall with the whole time of about 10 to 15 seconds. It doesn't make any sense. If anybody advertises a 90% win rate, you better watch out, because that loss that they take is going to be absolutely ginormous.
Welcome back, everybody. Today we welcome Brandon, who is quickly approaching the $1 million mark with $816,000 in Kinfo verified profits. Today we're going to jump into his trading strategies, a little conversation on industry transparency, gurus and gurus, and we'll talk a little bit about his top tips for new traders. But first, a very quick reminder: you can get Kinfo Pro and Pro Plus free for your first month. Just log in, click upgrade. Super easy. You'll get your advanced analytics and reports. But first, Brandon, how are you today? Nice to meet you.
We're doing great. Thanks for having me.
And where are you trading from?
We're trading from Denver, Colorado. So mountain time.
Yeah, I was just thinking that sounds pretty cool. And Brandon, your life I don't know how much your life has changed or how much it's about to change, but in the last 12 months, I was checking your Kinfo, $703,000 in profits over the last 12 months. What clicked? What happened?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really feel real. And when I look back at the numbers, it's hard to even believe them, honestly. But I think it's just been the result of a lot of hard work over time. There wasn't too much that changed. I give you three things I think that changed from a year prior. One was just screen time. I think anybody in this game, if you're doing it for 3 or 4 years, you're going to notice that you're going to find more and more setups every year. You're going to get better at trading more and more setups every single year. And so that was a big key for me. And if you look at my statistics, one thing that's kind of strange is I don't really size up as far as like share size or anything like that. Really, I'm just taking more trades. So like a year or two ago, I might have taken 40 trades a day, and now I'm taking 200 trades a day. So I'm just finding that many more opportunities. I'd say that's the first thing. The second thing was I was able to join a pod of some other traders that I met up with here in Denver, and that's just been so huge. You've got other ideas, other people's strategies, and you're able to kind of just you share your knowledge, what you know, and then they're sharing what they know, and it just ends up both parties end up benefiting from it. So that's been hugely successful, and I'm on like chat with them all day, and it's a blast trading with those guys. And then I'd say the last thing was I ended up going full time in January, and I had a job at a startup, and the company went under, and so I was kind of forced into full time. I was ready for it, but and then I had 100% focus on the market, and I think that really ended up benefiting my results.
No, but I mean that's it. It's, as we were discussing earlier, what a complete blessing. What a huge blessing to it's a disaster to lose your job, right? It's a nightmare. I think everyone's been through it at one point in life, but for you to just be thinking, okay, this is the universe sending a message, like now's the time, let's go. I mean, what do you think about it now? It's like a blessing, no?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I was prepared for it mentally. I didn't know when it was going to happen. Again, it was like a startup company. So I was ready for it. I didn't think much would change. And I mean, I was wrong, thankfully, because it's really interesting, when you give 100% effort to trading, and then you have that extra time in the day to go back and watch your trades, and like you're just putting in that much more time. It really makes a difference.
Yeah, but I've heard this with these groups of successful traders. I've seen this a few times with like almost pods of traders. I've saw it with, I think Jack Kellogg was living with a couple of guys. I think Jack was living with Dom, if you know these guys, and they were trading together, and then they just boomed. And I've heard of these other kind of pods existing elsewhere as well. So it's definitely a great tip for other people. I saw that you described yourself as a hyper-scalper. Now, I've known about scalpers, but I don't know about hyper-scalpers. So can you tell us a bit more about like how that differs from a scalper, or what the strategy entails?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different definitions for scalpers in general. And I just felt like the trading that I was doing, which was on a very short time frame, I'm talking, I'd say a majority of my trades fall with the whole time of about 10 to 15 seconds. But those trades could be anywhere from 1 second to 30 seconds. And then if I'm holding a trade for longer, I've got a winner and I'm holding on to it, maybe it's like up to 5 minutes or something like that. But majority of my trades are very, very quick. And these are all like level 2 based entries and exits. So I am looking at a chart and I'll be looking for, a chart to coil, and we're going to play a breakout either way. Look for extended dips. We'll look for parabolic momentum, all kinds of like chart setups. You can see it on the chart, but you can really nail the entries and exits and manage your risk really well by dialing in on the level 2. And so I just call it hyper-scalping because it's just so many trades. Like I said before, 200 trades a day. It's a very active trading style.
I can imagine that's going to leave you feeling pretty exhausted and pretty tired at the end of every day, no?
I don't know. You'd think so, but I also think it's kind of fun. It's like a video game. You're watching all these flashing lights and you're clicking all these buttons, and it just feels very engaging versus like taking a trade, sitting back, and you almost want to like not look at it because if you do, you're going to sell it. So...
Nah, 100% understand. I mean, you're playing the funnest game in the world, right? It's like you're placing bets, but you're the house. You're placing the bets, but you're the house, and you get to place hundreds of these bets every day. And if you win, you make loads and loads of money. Like, there's no funner game than that.
Yeah. Who wouldn't want to play that game? It's amazing.
But you've got to be winning if you put a load of bets on and you're losing this. It's a much less fun game. But do you have indicators that like are you compounding multiple patterns? Are you using different indicators? Are you using Python?
No, I don't use. I mean, VWAP is the only indicator that I really keep on my chart or pay attention to. But I'd say for the most part, it's just going to be price action and chart setups. If something and everything. This is why screen time is so important, because one chart setup might mean something completely different one day to the next in a different environment on a different stock. You have to know the story of the stock, and every pattern is telling you a different story. So, I mean, I guess I'm trading tight charts for breakouts. But if I see a chart that just keeps selling off relentlessly, can't bounce, then I might try to like short it until I notice something in the tape that says, okay, I think this move is coming to an end. Maybe it's got a blow off or something like that. And now we'll try to trade it the other way. So I'm trying to like, once I dial in on a good stock, and by a good stock, I mean something that has range, it has volume, and it has tight spreads. And I think you can talk to any traders, but if it has those three things, it's going to be tradable. And when a stock has that, then I'm just dialed in. I'm trying to understand its movement, its personality, and I'll try to trade it any which way.
That's super interesting. I've just got a quick question, but we're just going to quickly go to a break from our sponsors of today's podcast, and then we'll jump back in. Unleash your trading potential with Cobra Prime. Cobra Trading has released the ultimate trader package, crafted through strategic partnerships with top businesses and software innovators. You can now gain access and discounts to leading trading tools, from advanced analytics and charting systems to trading platforms. With over 15 partners and growing, Cobra Prime lets you customize the perfect trading package for your needs. The more you trade, the more points you can earn to unlock additional trading tools. Click the link in our YouTube description and sign up to Cobra Prime to elevate your trading experience. So, Brandon, what gets me is the way you talk about these things. It sounds like you've got such intuition. You've got such intuition of the patterns of the markets through the screen time that you've endured. But like, how can you do this? Like, what separates you from 97% of people that lose? Like, how can you do it and no one else can? What do you do different?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'd love to answer that question, but I have no idea, honestly. It's not like I'm some genius. I was a very mid-grade student through grade school and college and stuff like that. I think the only difference was that I was uber competitive in anything that I did, and two, I just tried really hard at certain things. And like the market was so intriguing to me. And the idea of what the market could do for me and my family and my life, that just kept me going. That was my why. And I just dug in. I was every single day, I'm trading, I'm looking at the level 2, the charts, I'm trading every single day, the full day. And then at the end of the day, I'm reviewing my trades. I'm watching YouTube videos on like other people's content, trying to understand what other people are doing, what other people are seeing, because right, if you know what the other side's doing, that's going to benefit you even more, because you can trade against them. So, I think it just really comes down to the work that I put in.
When you say
the only thing I can guess.
How much work is the work?
Yeah, so I've been doing it for 4 years, and like I said, trade the full day. So you got 6.5 hours there. You're going to review your trades, so probably an hour there. And then I used to do it a lot more in the past, watching the YouTube videos and trying to understand other people's strategies, what else is out there. But I would spend another like 2 or 3 hours. I mean, my wife was my girlfriend at the time, probably hated me, but it was all for a good cause.
So you're doing like 10 hours consistently every day, most days for a few years, right? 3-4 years, 10-hour days.
Yeah, I'd say, for the first 3 years, definitely.
That's what it takes. And in terms of how you found your strategy, how did that happen? Because not many people go into like hyper-scalping.
Yeah, I actually ran into this guy called Eric Green on YouTube, and he basically put his whole strategy out there. He laid out it exactly how he traded, his entries, his exits, and you could just see exactly what was happening. And when someone talks about it, like if I'm talking to you right now on the podcast, I'm describing what I do, there's a lot of nuance that isn't conveyed. But when you watch somebody win and lose live, you're seeing exactly what's happening and how they're managing their risk. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're doing. We're just placing our bets and managing our risk. And so, and just like you would, if you wanted to be a professional soccer player or a professional video gamer, you're going to go watch the professionals. You want to see how the best of the best do it. And this guy, Eric Green, he was doing amazing. He was having really good results. And this was right around after COVID. So like late 2020, early 2021. And I watched this stuff and I realized, okay, like, well, why don't I just copy exactly what he's doing? And so I started doing that. But then I realized like, well, I'm trading on such a small time frame. Like maybe I should learn the level 2. And then I started doing that. And I just added more pieces. Instead of buying dips, I started buying breakouts, started adding different elements. I forget what your initial question was. Sorry.
Oh, it's
going on a tangent.
No, you answered it perfectly. The question was, what strategy, how did you find the strategy that suits your personality? And it's basically by meeting Eric Green, and then you've adapted from there, right?
Yeah.
Final question, then I'm just going to ask you some more fun questions on gurus and gurus. But do you have any dream vacation, any plan, like now that you've made some money? Is there anything you want to do just to kick back and just enjoy yourself?
No, so I'd been working full time, saving up, then grinding the 9 to 5, and really just saving all of the trading profits. And I've been so blessed. I've been able to buy a house. We just closed on it a month ago, and I got married just a month ago. I just went on the honeymoon to Bali. I just got back last week, and now it's just about paying off any debt that's on the house and enjoying life. I want to keep my expenses as little as possible because I don't want to be a slave to the amount of money that I have to earn in the markets. If I have a bad month, bad year, I want to be able to keep doing this and not have to go back and get a 9 to 5. So that's really my goal, and that would be the greatest gift of all. I don't need a vacation. I love doing what I do. I don't feel like I need a vacation. I'm sure my wife would disagree, but we're pretty happy for now.
No, I think what you're doing is very responsible as well. And Bali's an amazing place. I've been a few times. In terms of furrows and gurus, what made you decide that you wanted to be on Kinfo?
Yeah, I think I just wanted I wanted to connect with other legitimate traders. And I think that was a big thing early on in my learning process is how do you decipher between someone who's real and someone who's fake? And there wasn't a good, I'd say until Kinfo came along, there wasn't really a good way to do that. You had like broker statements and stuff like that, but that could also be faked. So I don't know, it was just really tough to tell. And then right now you can actually just like look at someone's statistics and you can immediately tell if they're fake. You know, if they've got like an 80% win rate and their winners and losers are the same size, you know, it's like nobody has an 80% win rate with the winners and losers the same size. You're probably averaging in or averaging down or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I originally got on Kinfo because I wanted to just show that I was real and then meet other real traders. I wanted to network with other traders who were legitimate. And then obviously I wanted to see my name on the leaderboards, you know, that's pretty cool.
No, but I mean, I hate it. Like I've known people that have been in trading in the industry for a long time, and I've heard people saying like, I mean, how old are you for now? Or if you don't mind, like how old are you now?
Yeah, I just turned 31.
It's 31. Okay. Like for me, it's like, I'm younger. I'm a bit older than you. So for me, it seemed like a younger guy, right? Still. And like, I've seen people say, oh, these younger guys, like showing these big profits and this 800 grand. Like I've heard people say, they're all scammers. They're just kids making stuff up on the internet, selling courses. And like, what does it mean for you to be on Kinfo? Because you have that validation that many people would think, you might be making it up. Many people I know some older people who say, oh, these young kids are scammers. So what does it mean to you that you can finally validate and verify yourself?
Yeah, it's so important. I mean, just to give validity to who I am and help network and find these like pods of other traders and stuff like that. That is so important because at the end of the day, like I agree with the older people. I mean, these kids, they are scammers because, you know, if I don't know trading and I'm finding their videos, and that's the problem. Like they're good marketers. That's why they exist, because they're really good at marketing. They're good at marketing, you know, fraudulent stuff. And then I'm going to go and follow them and I'm just going to lose a bunch of money. So, I mean, really, they're just scamming you. They're taking your money and then you're going to piss away your money trying to copy and emulate what they do, which is it's not going to work. So,
no, but and the worst thing is like everyone falls for the thing that's too good to be true. Everyone falls for it. Like that's the worst part.
Yeah, everybody wants it to be true. Everybody wants to make, you know, $100,000. Oh, I just made the $15,000 trade today. It's like, okay, yeah, of course I want that. Who wouldn't?
Nah, but and no one's doing anything about it as well. Like I've seen guys who I won't say their names, but I've seen guys scamming. I don't know them personally. I've spoke to them personally, being like, why are you doing this? But I've spoke to guys personally who I know are lying, paper trading, making up profits, putting videos on YouTube, and then trying to get people into a chat room. It's absolutely insane, but hopefully this can stop in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've talked to one kid who, and I understand the appeal for them. You know, they're trying to grind, and I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt here, but you know, they're trying to grind, they're trying to make some money, and they realize that there's an opportunity here, and maybe they have the best of intentions. Maybe they really do want to teach people, but they just don't have the knowledge or the credibility to do so. It's like saying I want to be a college professor and teach economics, but you're in high school and you haven't learned, you haven't even gone through the hard stuff. You haven't earned your stripes yet. So, you know, how are you going to go? And it's noble, sure, but you got to earn it.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. And in terms of these other gurus and gurus, the likes of Bro and Kitty or Zach Morris or this whoever else, do you think they help the industry or do you think they hurt the industry? Are you happy to have them there or not?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, right? Because like I said, you know, they're really good marketers and I'm not bringing anybody into the market. I'm certainly not. They are. Sure, it's in a fraudulent way, but at the end of the day, you know, it benefits us because it's added liquidity. It's unfortunate to say that, you know, I don't want I don't want these people on the other side of my trades, but it is what it is. You know, these guys are good at getting people into the market, and so is it good for our industry, I'd say that I don't know, it's a toss up, morally, no, but financially, yes.
And this is how the world works in a lot of ways, right? A lot of things are morally not very good, and the things that are morally not the best often do the best. We'll have this thing with bankers every 4 or 5 years. Bankers with the financial crisis, or what they're doing with the subprime mortgage crisis, was it very moral? No. Did it make loads of money for bankers? Yes. And this is just how the world works, unfortunately, on a higher level. Do you have a favorite furu, or do you have a furu that you hate the most?
Yeah, I hate them all equally, to be fair. But I did make a video about one. His name's Lander Schlesinger, and he's a younger kid. And it was just so, I watched some of his videos, and it was just such a shame because he's running like a chat room or whatnot. It's not like he's sharing his full screen every day or whatnot. And what he's doing is he's taking a ton of trades, paper trades, obviously, and then he's only publishing the one trade that works. And so he'll say that he made like 14,000 today on SPY options, and he'll do it every day. He's green every single day. And when he loses, it's like, oh, I lost small on SPY options. It's like, how could you have like a 90% win rate? And then when you lose, it's smaller. I mean, you are a god. You're a trading god. You don't even belong with us peasants. Why would you ever share this information on YouTube if you're that good? It doesn't make any sense. And those statistics are completely unachievable, by the way, for anybody listening. If anybody advertises a 90% win rate, you better watch out, because that loss that they take is going to be absolutely ginormous. So, but this is one example of how these furus work. And so I posted a video just blasting him and showing all the different fake pieces of his videos and how you can identify it, because at the end of the day, I don't want people to get scammed. But yeah, it's just unfortunate. You comment on their video and they immediately delete your comment and block you and whatnot. And it's just like, it's not even worth the effort to get mad about it anymore. I'm just going to go do my own thing. And it's sad, but it is what it is.
Yeah, no, but I mean, it's also like, I've seen these guys, I think they create multiple Google accounts and they just comment on their own videos supporting and saying, oh, how do I get in your room? Like, it's just like, it's pretty disgusting. And I've also learned from personal experience. Like, I remember when I was trading more actively, I remember one August, like in 2020, had like all green days in a row, each for $1,000, $2,000. And I thought, I'm a total god, me. I'm crack trading. What I didn't realize is that if you average up on everything you're down on when you're shorting, one day you're going to take a massive loss. And that's what happened. And I took like a $30,000 loss one day. And that's the lesson. Like, some people can be being honest. Like, I was being honest, but my strategy wasn't sustainable. So makes sense. Yeah. In terms of trading advice for new traders, how does a new trader find a strategy that matches their personality in the way that you found a strategy that matches yours?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I think you have to be honest about who you are, like what your personality traits are, what your strengths and weaknesses are. Are you somebody who wants to be sitting in front of the screen all day, clicking buttons? Like, personally, I enjoy that. I like that active trading style, but a lot of others probably don't. They want to place their trades. They want to go trade for the first hour and a half, and they want to go enjoy the rest of their day. Are you somebody who, after you buy and you're in the money, are you somebody who's like itching to take that profit? Or are you someone who's pretty chill? You're like, okay, if it comes back on me, that's okay. I'm going to let this thing ride. Right? For me personally, I want to take that profit. If I see green, I want it in my pocket. I want to put it in the bank. So, that's another example of just a personality trait. And then what are your triggers? What's going to make you angry? A trade coming back on you and then getting stopped at a break even, is that going to set you off? Well, then you better take your profits quick and realize that about yourself. Are you one that you can't handle taking a bunch of losses over and over and over again? Well, then maybe you should err towards like a higher win rate strategy. So many different tweaks that you could make to adjust to your personality. And at the end of the day, when you're first starting out, I think it's going to be tough to figure out exactly what your personality is. I mean, again, you can be open and honest with yourself, but until you get in the weeds and you try a bunch of different stuff, it's probably going to be difficult. So I'd say, at least when you're starting out, and this gets into like recommendations for traders who are just beginning, but I would trade with very small size because you need to build up that database of statistics. And I would try as much stuff as possible, like literally just try to lose money, but figure out, you're going to build a database of trades and you're going to figure out, okay, where was I successful? Where wasn't I successful? Why wasn't I successful? And you'll trim the fat eventually, but you need to build that database first. And anybody who says, okay, I've had success after a month and now I'm going to scale up, it's like, okay, it's just too quick. You don't have that database of trades yet. And you're also going to be combating different market environments. You might have a market environment where it's great for like longing stocks. And that's what we've seen in the past month, where with this GameStop and AMC stuff, the resurgence through Roaring Kitty, it's been amazing for longs and it's been horrific for shorts, but that has shifted on a dime and now it's the exact opposite. So you really have to go through the cycles and just let it play out. Record that data, and then you can feel really confident about scaling up. So I know I went on a little tangent there, but it's not easy to find a strategy that matches your personality, and it's going to take a while. So just be patient with it.
And I mean, in terms of it was interesting what you said about it depends whether you can handle a loss coming back on yourself and as to what strategy you would trade. So in terms of your strategy, because it's so quick, if it doesn't work the minute you enter a trade, are you out? Or
yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. So with, I think it's probably similar with all hyper-scalpers. The signals that you get on the level 2, you expect to play out right away. And me personally, I find it easier to predict what's going to happen in the next 5 seconds than what's going to happen in the next 5 minutes. So when I see something on the level 2, I know in my mind, okay, I've seen this, 1,000 times. I know that when I buy here, this should happen. It should go right away. There should be no, waiting around or whatnot. If not, then I'm just going to get out, and I'm going to try to get out for like break even or a small loss. And that's part of the risk management. You keep the losers small. And then when it does work, you know that, okay, it has a series of things it could do. It could go, parabolic momentum up into a halt. We could just trade up and kind of stall out, but there's different rules for taking profits too, because the exit will be based on level 2 signals as well.
Yeah, are you a guy that likes to accumulate on the bid, or are you a guy that likes to slap the ask with a little bit of size when you?
Oh, I'm slapping the ask.
You're slapping the ask?
Yeah, I'm not, again, because like when I see something, it needs to happen right away. So it's too much time if I just go sit on the bid. Yeah, I'm probably not getting filled. I'd say 90% of the time, it's just going to do the thing without me. So I got to be aggressive.
But I suppose if you're slapping on the ask, you kind of support your own trade idea, because you're expecting the momentum to come in. You're slapping that ask with some size to try and push that momentum through and carry your own trade philosophy through. No.
Absolutely. And I'm sure that there's a lot of other hyper-scalpers that are taking the same trade that I am that are pushing the trade along.
No, and that's what you need to do. You need to support your own idea and support it with size, right? And in terms of, is there any advice that you wish that you'd received that you could give to someone else today?
Yeah. So this is a tough one because I'm a very brute force guy. It's tough for me to like take advice from somebody or see something and then just immediately take it as fact. I need to go through the motions and see it a bunch of times to really believe it and then trust in it and put my money behind it or whatnot. The one thing that changed, and I talked about this earlier, was when I saw somebody who traded live. I saw the entries, the exits. I saw the winners, the losers, how they manage risk, when they traded, why they traded. It wasn't just, I do this because of this, and like a cherry-picked example. It was just the raw data, and that's what I needed. And so I don't want to like get on here and like promote a course or anything, but I think if you are going to take a course, I think the most valuable thing you can get is like the raw trading archives. So I know like for hyper-scalpers, I know there's one called MMU, and then there's one, I think the guy's name's The Trading Farmer or whatever, and they live stream their trades. And like, again, I don't even know why they do this. Like, you're just giving away so much edge. It's unbelievable. When you show exactly what you're doing, it's always like, you know, the courses are expensive, but to be able, I mean, these guys are making thousands of dollars a day. I mean, if you can replicate what they do and they're showing you exactly how to do it, I mean, it's worth it. And I don't have any affiliation with these guys, by the way. I do know them. Like, I'm in one of their Discords or whatnot, but I don't have a close relationship with any of these guys. But I'd say, you know, early on, finding that would have helped me the most, just because that's the way I learn. I want to see the raw data and make my own decisions, and to see someone else who's doing it successfully, it just makes me trust them a lot quicker. That's the one thing I would say. I just say one more thing, which is I would keep the size the same for months and or years, because like I said before, you're going to go through different cycles, you know, and even maybe just your personal life. You know, you might go through a rough patch in your personal life where your emotions are taking a heavier toll and you're trading differently. And you need to just see how that's going to affect you. You need to see how all these things are going to affect you and be prepared for it.
That makes 100% sense to me, and I think it's very wise words. We're about to close out just with a message, a final message from the sponsor, but I just wanted to give you a final opportunity. If there's any shout outs to anyone you want to give, or to any services or rooms, or any golden nuggets of information you'd like to share, the space is yours. And thanks so much for coming on.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, I'll say if you want to reach out to me or find me, I'm on Twitter. Not super active on there, but I do post every once in a while. And that's under Dip Traders. And I also built a scanner for myself, because when I started back in 2021, there wasn't a scanner that I could find, but outside of Trade Ideas, but that was like $150 a month or something like that. That really focused on that super short time frame that I needed. So I built a scanner for myself, and on the Dip Traders website, I also sell a subscription to that. So, yeah, and I've been doing that for 3 years. That's what I use every day to find the stocks that I trade. And then as far as like just golden nuggets, or, you know, some words of wisdom to close things out, I just say, if you're going to do this, have a really strong why, because it's just such a difficult game. You know, you're going to take a lot of L's, and it's going to take a lot of time, you know, to dedicate the amount of hours that it takes to be successful in this business. You have to have a strong reason to keep going. And for me, that was, I want to be able to support my family. I don't want to work a 9 to 5 for the rest of my life. And when I have kids, I want to be around to hang out with them. I want to have freedom to work when I want. And then financial freedom as well. So like, that was my why. And every time I got knocked down, I'm just coming back to that why. Like, okay, we got to keep going. We got to pick ourselves up. It's going to happen. So that's my biggest piece of advice for anybody who hasn't quite got there yet, but is on the path.
No, and that's a beautiful way to close out. We'll say thank you so much, Brandon, for coming on. Thanks to the sponsors. We're going to close out with this message. Thank you so much for watching, and I just do want to remind you one more time about Cobra's ultimate trader package, Cobra Prime. The link is in the description. Click it below. I'll see you on the next one.